Welcome back to Did You Hear About? I think this is the fourth episode? Yep. So, trying to stay consistent. This is on a different day because, of course, there was a football game that was played on Monday night right about the same time that this podcast would have started. We are not going to podcast over that game, so we had to miss that one, but we are back here on a Thursday. It's about 7:45, almost 8, something like that? Yep. A little late because one of us was kind of late, and that's my fault. But we got a lot to talk about tonight. We've got, of course, the national championship that was played, but also then we've got to kind of look forward to what life looks like after football.
It's dark.
It's very dark.
It's like that Dr. Pepper commercial.
Yeah, what are they going to do whenever football's over? That is funny.
The off season.
The off season, yeah, it's not a fun time. There's still NFL football going on, but we all don't really care about that so much.
Do they still have? Is there still NFL?
Yeah. The Super Bowl hasn't played yet. I think Wild Card Weekend is just about starting. I think. I don't really care enough about it to really pay too much attention, but of course we did have the national championship game, which we all cared a lot about. Unfortunately, the result didn't quite go our way, but I guess it's motivation for next season. I guess congratulations to Georgia.
Georgia, good job. Probably the team's playing the better team. Maybe won. I struggle to say that.
But I would still say if Bama played their best game, they win that football game.
Definitely.
But Georgia was just more consistent than Bama was this year.
Yeah. And I think this is one of the first years in a while that we can officially say the best two teams in college football were in the national championship game. Because a lot of the games, or a lot of the past few years, you always feel like one of the semifinal games was a lot more interesting, a lot more fun, a lot closer than the national championship ended up being.
Or like an SEC championship game will be closer than either one.
Exactly. But I think this year we can officially say that, for me anyways, the two best teams in college football ended up at the national championship.
Yeah, and there have been a few years that have been pretty close. Like there have been a lot of good teams that have played. Like last year, I think Ohio State and Alabama were probably the two best teams playing.
And I'll get into that in a second after if we want to talk about the game for a second. But I'll have my comments on the two best team kind of thing.
The playoff situation.
Yes.
I mean, here's how I saw it shake out. I actually didn't get to watch the Texas A&M game. I was in Las Vegas watching a fight at the same time. So I actually predicted at the very beginning of the year that Bama would lose 2 games, and I said one of them would be Texas A&M. But I did not foresee. Here's the problem: whenever you watched Bama this year, as a Bama fan, anytime they got inside of the 15-yard line, a bead of sweat would roll down my forehead because you knew that they were probably not going to score. And if they did, it was likely going to be a field goal,
which is unheard of in the past couple of years.
And it happened in big moments. Like the Texas A&M game, they had 3 trips inside the 5 and came away with 6 points and 1 interception. Like that, and you could see that's where they lost that football game. They left 21 points on the field.
And you say red zone. You're on the 5-yard line. The red zone, 19, maybe a pass. But when you're on the 5-yard line multiple times, and you're a team like Alabama or other teams, you go and find the passing team. Mm-hmm. But Alabama, you run the ball. You have 4 chances to go 5 yards, and you have great running backs. You have, quote unquote, a great line, but you just run the ball.
I feel like you have to run the ball inside of the 5-yard line, and it got to a point where the closer they would get to the end zone, the less likely they would be to score, it felt like. Because, just like off the top of my head, I think they definitely had 2 red zone possessions where they ran the ball twice in 6 snaps, which is insane. I said this after the game. I said, okay, so Jamison Williams goes down with an injury, a torn ACL. At that point, Bama was up by 6 maybe or 3, something along those lines. And you knew at that point it was going to be a struggle for Bama. Both teams were struggling to put up points. I said it pretty much this whole year. Jamison Williams gets you 7 to 14 points every single game. He's one of those guys who you can look at and be like, okay, yeah, he'll buy me this amount of points this week. And, the kind of the same thing can go with Bryce Young. He can use his feet sometimes. He can buy you 7 points. Brian Robinson maybe can buy you 7 points. those are guys who you know points are going to come from, and if they give you the amount of points you think they should get every week, then you feel more comfortable about the game. Every time he touched the ball, for the most part, he made something good happen.
And on the year, I'm just looking at Brian Robinson's stats. On the year, he averaged 5 yards a carry. That was his average throughout the whole season. Georgia, admittedly, much better defense than some of the teams that Alabama played. But even then, I should probably pull up the stats for that game in particular. But
I don't know if I want to see them.
I don't know if I do either. But even then, I think he only had one negative play, one play for negative yards.
Mm. Well, and my thing is, whenever you look back at old Bama teams, like when it started in 2009 with Mark Ingram, especially because at that point, your most experienced wide receiver comes down to it is Slade Bolden. Once you lose Jamison Williams, and not, I'd say most experienced, not most experienced with Alabama, but the guy who's likely going to pull you out of a tight situation is Jamison Williams. And they've had a couple guys do that this year. We saw in the Auburn game they had a couple of good guys step up. But this is a different ball game at that point. When you're in a national championship playing against a good defense, you have to like I've never seen a Bama team where they don't say, okay, we've got a lot of freshmen out there. A wide receiver. Slade Bolden's a good player, but he's not that like home run hitter. When have you ever seen an Alabama team not say, okay, we've got our most experienced guy in the backfield behind Bryce Young, and we don't use him?
You don't give it to him, yeah.
Like that if you look back at teams, guys like Mark Ingram relied on him heavily. Derrick Henry, the best running back in possibly football history.
Well,
you lean on T.J. Yeldon. Najee Harris last year. You lean on these guys time and time and time again. And then whenever you lose all of your other guys, you don't rely on them.
Well, the other thing is you go back to the SEC championship and what Alabama did there, they wore the defense down. You didn't really get a chance to wear the defense down.
Didn't do it at all.
So that's how you won that game. And now Georgia probably came in and they were ready for that. They were definitely.
They looked much better.
Yeah, much better for that. But still, you didn't even really give it a chance. But
I feel like that's how you beat any elite defense is you wear them down. And I've said it. I've started to grow accustomed to this idea nowadays that an elite offense beats an elite defense 9.5 times out of 10. It's just the way football works nowadays. You can have as good of players as you want. And honestly, to me, Bama's defense played better than Georgia's defense. Like, they made more impact plays than Georgia's defense. Yeah, Georgia got those 2 interceptions, and they were off pretty bad throws from Bryce Young. But I think at that point, Bama was kind of grasping at straws. The first deep ball was a deep ball to the tight end Billingsley. It's just not going to happen that way. The second one was a heave-ho right at the end of the game. So, honestly, I think Bama's defense played better. And if you would have told me that Bama's defense would have played better than Georgia's in that game, you would have said that Bama wins that game. But if you would have told me that Georgia's offense played better than Alabama, I wouldn't have believed you.
Well, regardless, like I said, I think in the 2 best teams were in the championship. Somebody won. So, obviously, Georgia's the better team. They won. So, and that gets me to my tirade on the playoffs. So I put the question out there this week about what do people think about the playoffs. And I was very surprised at some of the answers from people about how many people wanted an expanded playoff. They wanted the comments came about the 12-game playoff. I'm like, okay, well we might as well go to just be the NFL. What are you going to do in a 12-game playoff? 12-game playoff, you have to rewrite the whole, in my opinion.
Can you look up and see what the 12th ranked team was in this?
That's what I was about to do.
But it goes back to the mere fact of you got to decide college football, what do you want college football to be? Does the season count for anything in college football? If you go to 12 teams, the season doesn't count for
my biggest
anything.
Thing.
The season counts for let's just get in the tournament so we can be the top 12. There has not been a time in here where we've had the playoffs that I think the number 5 team got left out and they could have been national. The number 5 team 6 or 7 has never been in question for being the national championship.
Nope.
So it's obviously worked. I would even say the number 4, even when Alabama wasn't in there, because I'm an Alabama fan, or Alabama was number 4. If they didn't make it in there, okay, I'm okay with that. Because the 1 and 2, maybe number 3 team, always get a shot at getting in there, and those are the ones for the past 4 years that we've seen that, and people say, well, Notre Dame needs to join a conference. Sorry.
They have to. And if you're going to be in the playoffs, you have to perform better than Notre Dame has. They have played awful every single time they've made it.
And Cincinnati had a chance at it. They came in. They had a good season. They had a good team. They lost in the playoffs.
Well, and people will say that game was close. That game really wasn't close, if you ask me. I mean, Bama played a very limited offense. They didn't want to show Georgia anything. They just wanted to get out of there with no more injuries than they had. So I don't think that game was close at all. My biggest thing about it is what you said earlier. To me, there is nothing more important in college football than the regular season. And if you introduce a 12-team playoff system,
season doesn't matter.
The season doesn't matter. Bama beating Auburn at the last minute doesn't matter.
Well, we need to get more teams involved and more teams. Okay, well, if you're going to go, you know what? The more I thought about it, then let's have coming from an Alabama fan, let's have a 12-team playoff, because Alabama's going to, right now for the foreseeable future, they're going to be in it every single time.
If you want to stop the monopoly on college football,
that's not stopping the monopoly.
It's not. If you want to stop teams like, this is the thing that people look at. You say, how do we stop teams like Ohio State, Clemson, Bama? How do we stop those 3 teams from making it every single year? A 12-team playoff is not going to get a better program. That is how you do it. A 4-team playoff is fine. I didn't like it when it started. I still don't really like it, but it works.
There
it works
has
good enough.
not been anything that you go, oh, that team got left out and they should have had a chance at it.
My thing is like, okay, if you're a top 4 team and you lose one game and you lose it, unfortunately, if the officials make a bad call, if you get screwed out of it in some way, you lose a star player and you can't adjust in that game, okay, you might lose one and you might be out of the top 2. Maybe you're still a good enough team, maybe you're not, but okay, number 4 team has a chance. Bama played at number 4 and they won a national championship.
Or maybe you're Alabama and Georgia and you're going. They could actually go into their undefeated into the SEC championship, be a 1-loss team, and drop to 3 and still be in. There's other conferences. You actually have a chance to do this yourself. So I'm not saying the SEC is better than it. Just you're going to have to be better. But when you go to the other thing with all the other things that come along, so we're going to go to a 12-team playoff. Let's go ahead and just go to that. So the number 1 team is going to have to play 3 games, and the number 10, 11, 12, they're going to have to play 4 games. Mm-hmm. So now let's divide the conferences up. We're going to have to split everybody up and make it like an NFL-style conference, so you can actually have people fitting in these slots, because Notre Dame can't sit around and just wait. Oh, well, we're number 12. We hadn't played blah blah blah.
Well, and it hurt them this year.
It hurt them, but what are you going to do with all of these bowl games? The one thing that it will do is it might stop the opting out thing, because I don't know if it is, but the other thing is people don't. You go to a bowl game and say you're Clemson, Georgia, and Alabama, and every single year, it's not cheap for fans to go to games.
That's my biggest thing.
So you go to a bowl game, and you travel way out here for the playoff game, and you spend all these money on tickets, which tickets go from anywhere from $300 up to $3,000 a ticket, and you're going out of this, and you go to the playoff. Now, if you win, you're going to the national championship somewhere else, so you're spending thousands of dollars to go to these games. So are you going to have 4 games? The fans they're not going to go. And if you're going to do it, you need to have it at the home field of the highest ranked team all the way to and the national championship can be played in wherever. They can go play that wherever. But up until the semifinals, quarterfinals, all of that have to be played at the home field of the higher ranked team. And that's more of an advantage. Well, they're a higher ranked team, so they get an advantage, I guess.
Here's my thing. What you were talking about is, who gets paid for all that? Who makes the money from the $3,000 ticket? The corporation that runs the NCAA. People always talk about, oh, well, we need to do this because we need to have a 12-team playoff because, oh, well, this team might not have a chance because they won't make it into Cincinnati doesn't have a chance this year. Okay, well, guess what? They made it in. They didn't win. They didn't play well. They didn't win. They didn't have a chance to win. You could have played that game 99 times out of 100. Alabama walks away with a win every single time. The biggest thing about it is they're always going to try and find something to fall back on to say, oh, well, this is why we need this. We need this because a non-Power 5 team will never make it. Okay, well, guess what? One did, they lost. We need to have this because because opt-outs, and we have to solve the opt-out problem. Guess what? 10 years ago, nobody was opting out of the Rose Bowl. Now they are. If you want to solve the opt-out problem, here's the thing. College football is a money game now. Put incentives in their clauses. Put incentives in their NIL clauses and say, if you win the Rose Bowl, you get an extra $50,000. How about that? I would guarantee you that would stop opt-outs.
Or when you sign up with the program, you have something in your scholarship or your whatever drew you to that college. There needs to be something in place that says you are going to play for us in a bowl. Otherwise, you lose X amount of money off your scholarship or X amount of privileges from whatever it is. There has to be some kind of incentive, and whether that's like a good or a positive incentive, like you said, give them more money, or a negative incentive, as in take away money from them from things like a scholarship. They're just gonna have to figure that out themselves because, like you said, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, no one's sitting out of the Rose Bowl.
You used to have to redshirt when you swapped schools. You used to have to sit out a year, and that was the total opposite of what's happening now. You would have to, so that you couldn't be swapping players around, and now you have the transfer portal, so that the only thing that I can see about the transfer portal that I like, and I'm old, so I come from old school college. I mean, I actually had to redshirt myself when I went to another college to play sport, and had to sit out a year. So the only thing I can see, if somebody was going to a school, they were heavily recruited by a coach, they really liked it, they wanted to go there, that was their school, and they went there, the coach leaves, something goes wrong, okay, give them a one-shot deal to go to another place to do whatever.
Yep.
But after that, you don't, in life you don't get, life is not full of second and third and fourth and fifth chances. You just got to deal with it and make the best of it.
I think we talked about this last time, was like a 2-year grace period. So So whenever you get to a place as a freshman, if you want to transfer, you have to, whatever school you go to, you have to be there for at least 2 years to make another transfer. So you could go your freshman year. You can transfer out after your freshman year or halfway through or whatever they're doing nowadays. And, okay, if you go from, we'll say you go from Georgia. You transfer out of Georgia, you go to Alabama. You have to play 2 years at Alabama or sit on the bench 2 years at Alabama. And then if you want to transfer for your senior year to go to Ohio State, you have to wait till your senior year. You cannot just like some of these kids out there.
See, I agree, but you can transfer, you just can't play. Like, you have a limited time of eligibility.
Yeah.
It's called redshirt.
Yeah, exactly. You basically redshirt. You bring that back. If you play at Alabama for a year and decide you hate it after you've already transferred once, they can't necessarily keep you there. But you can't just go and play at another program right away. So like you said, you have to have a red shirt.
So on the opposite end is, it's about money now.
Yep.
It's all about back in the day. There was not really money involved.
Well, there was once you completed your 4 years and made it to the NFL.
But now there's money involved. Whoever's NCAA college programs are making all this money, and the players are not getting anything. They are getting something. They get scholarships. They get free food. They get a lot of. They do get a lot of stuff. And I don't have a problem. The one thing, like we said last time, the NIL did not come up this year as an issue anywhere that I know of. So I really don't have a problem with that.
I don't either.
So if players want to make money doing it that way, and everybody's in agreement, it doesn't cause. I'm perfectly fine with it. I just still think the whole play. I was shocked at the playoff thing. So if you want to go to the playoff thing, then let's just go full steam. 12 teams, 16 teams, 60, whatever team play. But you people are going to have to realize college football is going to change drastically, in my opinion, when you do that, because you're changing the way college football operates. The season doesn't count as much. The number, you're playing your 10th or 11th game and you're undefeated, you can decide, you know what, somebody can say, well, we're just not even going to play this game because we'll just drop to number 7, but we're still in the tournament. You're playing for the tournament. You're not playing for a spot.
Here's my thing.
Real quick. Also, if you look at it, a team like Alabama had a close call against Auburn. Let's say Auburn wins that game. Alabama still doesn't drop out of the tournament. You're going to drop Bama farther than 12, maybe? I mean, maybe, depending on how – I can't remember exactly how that week went.
I doubt it.
But you probably wouldn't drop – the number 12 team right now is Pittsburgh. You're going to drop –
They finished like what, 9-3?
11-12. I think.
11-2?
11, yeah, sorry. 11-2.
They played a lot of games.
Yeah. 13. So are you really going to drop Alabama out of that tournament? So it negates a bad performance from a really good team. Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, like whoever it is.
Who's number 10, 11, and 12?
10 is Michigan State, 11 is Utah, 12 is Pittsburgh.
And none of them, in my mind, come up for consideration for being the number one team in college football. Now, if you want to change the perception of football and say we're playing for the tournament, that's what you're going to say. The rankings are for getting in the tournament, but don't say, oh, they're the best team. It doesn't matter who the best team is during the season at all. It's like NFL. It doesn't matter. You're just trying to get to the wild card spot on up so you can play the Super Bowl.
Or it turns into like March Madness. You're playing for that tournament.
Does anybody care about regular season basketball?
But the other thing that'll happen is football. You're gonna. The number one team is going to go in there with the Heisman quarterback, and they're going to play. The number one team is going to play end up playing the number 12 team, and the quarterback gets hurt.
Yep.
He's outdone. Freshman quarterback comes in. They're done for because you got 3 to 4 games you got to get through in order to get there. Now, if that's going to be a part of it, then we just all have to accept it. But during the season, rankings don't matter.
Nope.
Other than we just got to make it to the tournament.
I say people complain a lot about certain teams not playing to a certain caliber, like a team like Alabama, a team like Ohio State, whoever it is. You're going to get more of that in the season. They're not going to risk their star guy or star players or even maybe their whole first string for a game that doesn't matter
during the regular season.
Get basically
what about on the last?
Season.
What about on the last game? You have the. Just because I know Alabama, you go back to Alabama-Auburn game, and Alabama's what if a player opt out of the last game and say, oh, I don't want to play because I don't want to risk getting hurt, but I'll go to the playoffs. Are you going to get that kind of? I don't think
you will.
I don't think that would happen at Alabama but
places like that would happen.
Somebody could say, well, I'm just not going to play this game because I know we're probably going to win, and I just want to wait to go into the tournament. I'm not going to risk getting hurt.
And that might be the strategy for some teams.
Oh, yeah.
Certain teams might go, I don't like, we're going to say such and such is injured or he's just not going to play today because we don't want to get him injured.
So then you get into the thing of, well, they should play because now we're going to pay them. You're turning the college football into the NFL.
It's turning into the NFL.
I don't even see it as much of NFL as it's more turning into basketball. It's turning into like that structure, like you said, or hockey, I guess. I don't watch a ton of hockey, but you play for the tournament at the end of the year. You just play to get into the tournament, and that's it. And as long as you make it there, you've had a semi-successful season.
Well, and the thing about it is whenever you watch a basketball game and you play 90 games a season or something like that, nobody cares about your first 45 games or even your first 65 games or however many you play. I don't really care how many you play.
You're trying to get to the tournament.
But at the same time, in basketball, it's about being consistent every single, you win for a month in a row. In football, you play 12 games. Maybe. That's all you play. You don't play 75 games or however much they play in basketball. You don't have to be consistent for 3 months at a time. You have to be consistent for 3 months max. And you don't have to be that consistent. You just have to go out there, win 10 games or 9 games, and then you're made to the tournament. Congratulations. That's all there is to it. But the thing about college football is the most important thing that college football has is the regular season. If you make it a 12-team college playoff game or college playoff system, the Auburn game doesn't matter. Auburn-Bama game doesn't matter. Georgia-Alabama last year doesn't matter. Bama went out there and won it, didn't matter. Georgia-Clemson at the beginning of the season doesn't matter. Ohio State-Cincinnati, Notre Dame-Cincinnati doesn't matter. None of those matter. At that point, once you have a 12-team playoff system, none of those games matter. And the regular season is basically just white. Nobody's going to watch it.
And another thing is, too, if you hit a certain number of wins, do you just stop playing? Like, so if you get 10 wins in a season out of a 12 game season, regular season, do you just not play your starters in your last 2 games? You just make them ride the bench so no one gets hurt? Like, how do you...
Well, the strategy for playing games will definitely change for a lot of people. And I think, again, as the fans, and we go to the Alabama game, the home games.
Yep.
How are you going to get fans if you're going to play? I don't even know how they I don't know if somebody somebody can chime in if they already know how this is going to happen. I don't even know yet. But if they want to do 12 teams, how are they going to do this playoff? Have they thought about, we'll just make all these bowl games be the playoff games, or you're going to have to play it at the home field, or nobody's going to show up. It's going to look like what's a bowl that nobody goes to?
What was the Camilla Bowl this year? Was in Birmingham, Alabama. It was Utah and Boise or something. Nobody's going to travel out here to watch that game. It was empty. But here's the I won't be on board with it no matter what. But if you're going to set up a 12-team playoff system, the corporation does not get the money. That's all I got to say. If you're going to set
it has to go to the schools.
It has to go to the school and it has to go to the top-ranked school. If you're number 1 against number 12, if it's Alabama versus Pittsburgh, it's going to go to the University of Alabama. If it's Georgia versus...
See, I disagree there. I think because they allot...
Okay, both teams get money, but you get my point.
To fans, like you get X amount of tickets as a school.
Yeah.
So whoever sells their tickets or whatever, the money that they've sold for their fans, they get the money.
Yeah, but you got to make it more. If you have a home advantage, it has to be home advantage. Like you have to do it like 60-40 or 75-25, something like that.
Which
towards
that's fine,
the
but
home
I'm just saying you can't allot all of the money to one school. The host school should probably get a little more money because they are hosting.
Oh, well, yeah, they have to.
They have to pay staff and pay for food.
That's an
pay
incentive
for all that stuff.
to be better.
Be the better.
Yeah, but I think it should. Yeah, like maybe a 60-40.
I mean,
split.
the NFL, you play at the NFL. You play their
home stadiums. Yeah,
you play the home stadium. So if we're going to go that route, let's just go that route and be done with it.
But when you talk about a ticket being like $3,000 for some seats. Who gets that money? It's not the school, I don't think. I guarantee it's more corporation kind of thing. It's the NCAA is getting it rather than the schools are getting it. The players aren't getting it through NIL. But here's the thing. I'm all for players. Okay, I'm not all for players getting paid. This year it has not proved to be a problem. If players get paid, I have no problem. If the corporation makes more money this year because of a 12-team playoff is more inclusive to teams who will never make it, if you get that mentality, no, it's not. You're going to still have players opt out unless you give them money instead of not to. You're still going to have teams go out there and get the snot beat out of them by the number 1 and number 2 team because this year especially they were head and shoulders above everybody else. I think they probably will be next year too. It doesn't help even anything out. The only thing it does is make more money for the corporations that run college football.
And it actually adds a cushion to the better teams, I think.
Oh, 100%.
Because if you have
so much more
like a
leeway.
Team like Alabama, you lost against Texas A&M in a bad game, when you played a bad game. You go out there, you play another bad game, and you lose, but you're still making it anyways.
Yep.
Like it does, so it adds more of a cushion for the better teams as opposed to removing the monopoly, quote unquote, on college football.
Well, we will see how all that plays out. That was my tirade for the.
Yep.
For the week on the whole.
All I can say is there is literally nothing worse than I can think of for college football than an expanded playoff. That will be the end of college football as we know it. That's all I've got to say.
And the thing is, people will always say, well, why don't we give it a try? Because we will never go back.
You're never going back.
You can never take that back.
What I think they should do is move the goalpost back to the goal line. I don't know when they changed that rule. Y'all probably don't.
They don't. They're still there in Canadian football.
Well, it's in the middle. Is it on the goal line or is it 10 yards deep?
I think it's. I don't really know.
But who when they invented football, however that was invented, who said, oh, we're going to put the goalpost in the middle of the field?
Well, I think I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But rugby is that way. So I wonder if it was just an extension of that. Because rugby, I believe,
How
the
many?
goalpost
How many?
is right at the goal line.
So was it like?
Or-
In the,
You
I
have to
wonder
set
when
it down
that
and
when
you
did
get
that
to
rule
try.
change?
Or they
But-
had some kid who broke his neck in high school
Well, you
hitting the goalpost.
Well, you see old films of
moved it.
people running into it. I think in Canadian, if the pass like hits it, it's still in play. Somebody let me.
that would be
you know,
cool.
yeah, like you can throw it and hit the goalpost, and
That would be awesome. That'd
but
be
but
great.
the end zone in Canadian football is like 50 yards long.
Oh, it's huge.
I mean, you can just.
And same with rugby, I think.
Canadian football is like when you get down to the goal line, it's like backyard football. All the receivers, you take off running
You
before
run forward.
before the play starts, and they all run in the end zone, and they're running around in this gigantic field, and you can throw it to whoever, and you got a goalpost in the middle. I mean, it's like,
It's backyard football. It's kind of cool.
and it's cold.
But we did talk about, so we've kind of got the football thing out of the way, but now we've got to get to like post-football podcasts. It's kind of scary. We've never been here before.
Well, I have said when we get to 100 subscribers, we're only 89 away.
Oh, that's
We
close.
can start talking about aliens.
Okay, I actually have
And-
something to say on this topic because I like golf. Everyone knows I like golf. I went out and played today as I got off work.
Does Benjamin like golf?
And he does.
I think he likes it till he gets out there. Then he hates it.
No, I've become a more mild-mannered golfer. I played horrible today, and I was not angry, so that's good.
Golf.
So, but I was listening to a
Sport of frustration.
podcast on golf, but I learned that these people were more. It's not what you think. It's not what you think. It's not four old people sitting there, but they were talking about
Did you
space.
see that putt?
No, it wasn't like that. They were talking about space. So I think it's a thing with golf is whenever you step out there, you start like contemplating life and why you're out here trying to hit a little ball into a little cup. But they were talking about, I'm sure you know about the James Webb telescope. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, it's just
Or
been
the satellite,
deployed.
sorry.
It's the telescope.
Oh, it's a
being
telescope, yeah.
Deployed and out in space.
It's already out in space, I think.
It's like past the moon or something.
Oh, it's
it's going past the moon to take pictures of all the stuff.
Is that the thing that's supposed to be like 100 times better than the Hubble?
Yeah.
telescope? Okay.
Yeah, it's insane. And the way they were talking about, but this golf podcast, which is not only golf, they had a NASA scientist on there who helped develop this. So he was
you
talking.
have to make it interesting somehow.
Exactly. So he was talking about like the process of like not of building it, but like kind of like what it does. And they had talked about I don't really know like what the technical term is for it, but it's more like a deep space like shooting kind of look. Like he described it as like looking through a paper straw at one tiny little spot in like space. But they're building another one. I think they called it like Roman or something like that. And it's going to be like a more like wide shooting like
Wide
thing.
angle.
Yeah, more like a wide angle, but it takes it more shallow. So you don't see as like far, but you see more of, I guess, of the universe. But he was just talking about like, we were talking about aliens. He said, which I thought was kind of weird for a NASA scientist. He just said, "Oh yeah, if we found simple life, it just wouldn't. If we found it like tomorrow, it wouldn't surprise me," which kind of blew my mind. Like if you find like a worm crawling around like on a planet a million light years away, he's like, "Oh yeah, not a problem."
I have lots of theories and thoughts, but I cannot say anything.
But
until
then they
100
started
subscribers.
talking about.
Even if you're an alien, you can subscribe.
That's fine.
And I encourage you.
But then they started talking about.
We'll have you on the show.
They didn't have a name for it, which I know you have a name for it, but they were talking about if, like, a civilization a million
Be
light
very
years
careful.
away, you might get it copyrighted, a million light years away, said, like, if we saw them, or if we found another civilization, what are the chances that they would be at the same point in, like, their progression that we are? Like, that has to be, like, an infinite, like, possibility. Like they are way more likely to be a million years in the past or a million years in the future.
I've already come to all these conclusions, and I have my.
I know you have, but
And
the thing is, they didn't have a name for this, and they said, well, if this civilization is a million years into the future, we probably wouldn't even recognize them as an alien. We wouldn't even know what they are, like what they are. You wouldn't even realize it as a life form, and you have a name for it.
I know. We're already talking about it.
He's not going to say it.
I know he's not going to say it, but it has to do with another one of my interests, which is fishing. but we won't talk exactly what the name of it is because it's gonna have to be a patent. It's gonna have to be a patent. What's the word? Name, not name for it, but like a
trademark,
like a trademark.
People
name.
have already
a trademark theory.
People have already stolen my theories and used it.
The anthill theory of the universe.
What?
We're gonna have
that's
to
not the one I was talking about.
But he don't want to share any of his theories.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
We're gonna have to bleep that out.
Yeah, we'll bleep that out.
You did not hear. Where is it? We need the.
We need a mute. We need like a mute button.
That's not the one I was talking about. I was talking about a different one. We know that one's been stolen.
But you don't want to reveal them till 100 podcasts.
Fair enough.
Or 100 subscribers.
There's my thing on the screen. That's not my. That's my.
But
what's that? How do you say that guy's last name?
Oh, I have no
the
idea.
Guy, you know
the
guy
aliens guy.
Yeah,
I have no idea. But
we've already gone too far.
I know. But the thing is, you talked about having someone who's been abducted by aliens on the podcast. The thing about these NASA people, nobody really cares what they're doing to a point, except for people like us, and they are more than willing to jump on any chance they can to explain their giant brain. And I'm sure we could get a NASA person on here.
Yeah, if you work for NASA, be sure to contact
us. Or you know somebody.
Any space, aero engineering, anything like that.
Well, look at that. I'm trying to pull up. See who's. Look what I see.
Oh yeah, look at that. That's a good swing. Somebody sponsor me.
Yeah, y'all why don't you guys rate Benjamin's swing?
I think it's pretty good. That wasn't bad.
Like in the comments. I was seeing if my I don't even know where that went to. At one time when I would go on my Instagram, it would give me
message this person kind of thing.
Yeah, it would say you can message people. It's like changed around or something.
Instagram's changed.
But it would say here's somebody you should talk to or something like that. Oh, suggested people
to message.
Yes, and it would pop up, and there was like 4 people, and one of them was Bob Lazar.
I'm sure we could get Bob Lazar on the podcast.
So, Bob, if you're listening, be sure to contact us, and we will definitely have you on the show.
But, anyways, what else?
We got off the golf topic.
Ben drug us deep, and we were supposed to not talk about any of that.
We still,
he decided.
Well, there's still a lot to talk about. We haven't talked about the Drake equation or anything like that.
I have my.
I know. Speaking of golf, it is not Monday night. It is Thursday night?
Thursday night.
So there is a round of golf on that I'm currently watching.
I was about to ask, what are you watching tonight?
Yeah, it's golf. Oh, I did want to say one thing.
We understand it's golf, but
it's the Sony Open in Hawaii.
There you go.
But I did want to say there was some cool things that happened in golf this week, which is not an often thing. That's pretty good. Which is not a thing you can often say. Of course, Justin Thomas played at Alabama, Roll Tide. He broke the course record at a course in Hawaii, which was apparently way too easy for everybody, because another record was broken. Was like the lowest round ever shot in golf. It was 34 under par by an Australian with horrible hair, Cam Smith. So that happened. Like, if you think about it, like, there are a few names that everybody knows in sports, like Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Nick Saban's getting to that point as a coach. And if you think about it, Tiger Woods has never shot lower than 34 under, and some random Australian has just gone and done that and won $1.5 million doing it. So I thought that was cool. I think it was 34. I think it was 34 under, I want to say. So that was good.
I'll be amazed when somebody shoots an 18.
That would be awesome. Well, I'm sure we can get there. They have a robot nowadays that'll go out there and they'll hit hole-in-ones on par 3s.
There's several people watching tonight, so if you want to join in on the chat, just hit that chat button. Start chatting. Let us know what you think.
And if you have any topics, feel free to throw them out there.
If you have any topics, feel free to join in. But also hit the share button. And it's not a button. I guess it's an arrow. And share it out. You can hit share, copy link, send it out to people, subscribe to the channel, all that kind of stuff. Get the notifications. I'm looking down here now.
Also, something we were debating doing is watch parties for games.
Watch parties.
Yep.
And like we said, we'll never do an Alabama game. And we probably won't do an Auburn game.
I don't really care about the Super Bowl that much. I guess we could do the
So
Super
we could
Bowl
do the
watch
Super
party.
Bowl, or even just if there's something on that night. Like you always watch games while we're doing this, so maybe we all
You don't want to see us during
Alabama games.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty I'm calm, but
Some of us are not.
No.
I was pretty
Especially
calm.
when Bill O'Brien's making.
it's very disturbing.
Anyway, what else did y'all have? I had a funny video that I wanted to share.
I hope
have
it's
If I
not.
can find it.
I hope it's not my video.
I have a not so funny video to share.
I have a I had some things to talk. I'll break into the. I'll go to my sources real quick and break into this one thing that we can talk about. Because did you hear? There it is. Did you hear about this? Why does that keep going away?
My phone has just told me I reached 66% of my step goals today, even though I have not moved from this chair. I have been running a lot, though.
There we go. From one of my sources.
I saw this.
Cows have
Yes.
been given VR headsets to reduce anxiety.
And apparently it makes them produce more milk.
What did they
Well,
play in
I
the
mean,
headsets?
Like it was like just a field. Like they put them in
What
a
was in
nice
that?
field. So supposedly,
So they're like in a ball, like in this
they're
dark.
basically stalls, and then they
I mean,
put
this-
them in a nice field, and they produce more milk. Supposedly,
That's kind of dumb.
I mean,
I guess before you execute them, I guess you can put them in a field, but other than that, that's kind of weird.
you could just actually put them in a field.
I just,
Yeah, exactly.
So
Did it
What
say
if
where? I didn't ever find out where it was.
Also, we have a VR headset, and you could probably throw that thing pretty off, like, your head kind of easily. Like, does a cow not, like, lose its mind whenever you set that thing over its face?
I don't know. Do cows even move? I've never even seen a cow
True.
move.
So, but it's like, imagine, like, when we watch the cat, and he sits and he watches the TV. I don't think he actually watches the TV. Like, does a cow even realize, like, what is going on, that there's a screen in front of its face that he's watching? Or is he, like, fully immersed in the VR experience?
See, I think that
You know what I mean?
yeah. The thing about that is, I think it's so immersive that I don't think they realize. I guess they don't realize the difference.
But like what? But I don't imagine they have like cow headphones. And what if the cows next to you are mooing, and then the cow's like looking around trying to find where the mooing's coming from, but he doesn't see any other cows in the field with him?
that is a question for the ages. I'm not sure, but supposedly it works and it relaxes them and it produces.
More milk.
I think 30% more milk is what it said.
That's a pretty good number, actually.
Yeah, but again, how about you just put the cows in
And,
a field,
Yeah.
like an actual field?
And cats do watch TV. Animals do.
Our cat absolutely watches TV.
There's Barney, and he's watching TV.
What game is that?
What game is that?
It was one of the.
He was watching Utah, Ohio
Yeah,
State.
that was a really good game.
That was a great
that was
football
a good
game.
game.
That was an outstanding game.
He was also watching.
An unnamed person on the TV
Yeah.
because
If
we'll
we,
get
if, we,
canceled.
if we say that, did we get canceled?
Probably. What were we just talking about? Oh yeah, the cows in the VR headset. Another thing too that was interesting. Did y'all see the Joe Rogan thing? The CNN Joe Rogan thing?
The video, the different, yeah,
Yeah, like
the
how he looked like he was
desaturated
like
green
dead.
video. Yeah,
What now? He's dead.
Google, just go on his page and you'll see him compare the CNN video of because they said I guess after he got COVID he used the ivermectin. I guess
What am I supposed to go to?
just go to Joe Rogan's Instagram.
Does he have an Instagram?
He does. He has a podcast too. I don't know if you knew that.
who is Joe Rogan? I saw him once.
We did actually see him once.
Y'all were at the fight.
We were at the fight. We didn't see him up close, but we saw him.
We did see Conor McGregor up close.
We did.
And he
we
didn't
did.
throw anything.
What
or
am
hit
I looking
anybody.
for
He was
now?
actually a very nice man.
Just go to his Instagram.
I'm there. He's got aliens on his page too.
does.
So he might have posted it on his story. Might not have been on his.
Oh,
So he's got the CNN video versus what his like original Instagram post was. it's kind of laggy, but good lord, you can see that they turned him into like he looks more like what I would imagine
like Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah, kind of. But who's the head of Facebook?
Mark Zuckerberg.
He kind of looks like Mark Zuckerberg's true form right there.
He looks like a bad CGI character.
Yeah, he does.
Very CGI-ish.
That doesn't even look like Joe Rogan.
So yeah, that's what they did to that. So that was fun. I guess since you used horse dewormer, I think was the thought. So that was good. So, but apparently, I guess Joe Rogan no longer talks about aliens. He's just turned into one by CNN. So that's good.
Somebody is chatting, but they're talking in a foreign language. So sorry, I can't
transcribe
decipher what that means.
But that's unfortunate.
But anyway, I do have other things, but I'll let Brock share his.
Yeah, I have a video to share with you guys.
Well, you have nowhere to share.
I don't have anywhere to share it, so you're gonna have to do it for me. I don't have my computer in front of me. I just have an iPad.
Yeah, I just need to give you my phone.
Sure.
Are you looking? Do I know what you're looking for?
Yes. Not fully, but you kind of know. We mentioned it the other day.
And if you've noticed, we're missing Travis tonight.
We are.
So hopefully he's feeling well. He calls in from his secret underground bunker, wherever that may be.
It's very secret.
And if he might even pop in here. Who knows? I'm sitting here watching the screen to see if he calls in. He might be the person listening.
He could be.
He could be there.
Oh, here we go.
It should just be the top one. I'm not sure if it's just that video.
Oh,
or it might
yeah,
be,
that. I
it
saw
might be
that.
Some news
That
article,
was-
I actually waited. Y'all talked about this at lunch the other day, and I waited to watch the video.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to pull my screen down so I can see it. Also, I am disgusting and sweaty because I just got back from a run and I did not have time to take a shower. So if you have smell-o-vision in 20 years, I do apologize.
Video may find something distracting. Let me see what. Let me watch it first.
Those are the best kind of videos because they're uncensored.
This is definitely.
Like
I'm
Instagram.
sure people have seen this, but
yeah, I saw the first half
but
of
it's
this
like-
video the other day.
I saw the headline. I didn't actually watch the whole video. I didn't actually watch the video. I saw the headline.
Hopefully it'll play without
glitching.
glitching. All right. Rewind. All right, here we go. See if I can. So this is a plane crash. They're pulling people out, a guy out of a plane crash here.
Yeah, he got messed up a little bit in that plane crash. But then the unexpected happens.
Don't glitch.
Oh, it's glitching.
Oh, no. Oh, there it comes. You kind of saw it. The train hits the
plane.
airplane. Look at that. That is insane. And imagine how unlucky you would have to be. Oh, my God. Dude, I would not stand on that side of it. Whoever filmed that, I would be getting out of the way so fast.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, that's
I didn't see that angle.
I haven't seen that angle before.
There is no way I would have stood on that side of that thing. Because planes aren't exactly robust. They are, but they're not
No, they're pretty light.
Yeah, so they're supposed to kind of have to be light.
Because if you hit a car on a train track, it's not gonna break in half. An airplane will blow up into 1,000 pieces because it has to be light to fly.
You're flying in an airplane. That looked like I don't know what. That may have been.
It wasn't
So
like
it looked like almost like a glider. It was really, really small.
It was a small personal plane, basically.
But you crash and you survive, and that's all great and wonderful. And
he didn't come out unscathed. But
no, but he looked like I hadn't read the article. Hopefully, he did survive. But then it's like a weird cartoon or something.
Yep.
Then a train hit your plane.
I'm not sure exactly how quickly the police responded, but any later. And
if they were 2 minutes
survive.
later,
Yeah.
if there was somebody going 35 and a 45, he was dead.
No, any later, and he wouldn't.
Which
he wouldn't
reminds
survive.
me of another plane crash.
I was about to say there's another plane crash story that we have.
Can you imagine being Benjamin on a golf course?
It could have happened to me
on a plane crash and while you're playing golf and a plane crashes. I mean, because a golf course,
it's pretty big.
It's got if I'm having to land somewhere and I see a golf course, I might pick a fairway. Fairway.
Well, and that's the thing. You could have a fairway that's like 200 yards long. That's plenty of room to land like a small aircraft.
So you're on the golf course and a plane crashes, and I think the plane crashed. And it kind of flipped up.
And it was a World War II plane.
And it was
I
was just looking it up. I forget exactly what it was, but it was a.
It was a World War II aircraft.
Yeah.
And you see this, and it's all amazing because you're on the golf course.
It would feel like a dream if you looked up and you just saw a plane just and like crash land in front of you.
But then the door opens up. You go ahead, Brock.
Who steps out, Brock?
Han Solo.
Han Solo steps out of the airplane. When was that story? It was like it was a little while ago now, but Han Solo crashes an airplane onto a golf course, and I guess someone probably found him.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like you watch like walked up on him. Like he didn't walk off the golf course himself. Like someone walks up on this crashed airplane that they just saw hit the ground, and somebody walks up there, and it's like Harrison Ford. It's Indiana Jones stepping out of this airplane. You think it's part of a movie?
I'm seeing if I can find a.
Unless it was a fake story, but I'm pretty sure it was real.
Now, if you Google Harrison Ford,
that fell in Brazil, we all saw that.
Yeah, a couple.
Did you see that?
I saw that.
That was nuts. I don't even know if we should play that or not.
Yeah, I don't think we're allowed to play because a couple people died. I think. Sad. But
here's the.
Still, some kind of like crazy force of nature.
There's the.
Yeah, there it is. It wasn't a Mustang, but it looked like a Mustang.
It's like World War II.
No,
I think that's his second crash too.
I think it was. I think he crashed when he was younger as well.
So what you're telling me is don't fly in an airplane with Harrison Ford.
Yeah, I guess so. Or at least not one from World War II.
But I mean, like I said, if an airplane crash, that's just amazing enough. You're on the golf course to see that. Then, dun 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 dun. He hops out of there.
That would be pretty awesome.
Looking to see if I'm in a movie.
Would it be rude to ask for a picture at that point?
I think if you pull him out of the airplane, you're okay for it.
Okay.
You can get a quick selfie. You don't have to tell him. You just get a quick selfie. That reminds me of there's a story of a guy. I don't know his name, but it's like the unluckiest human being ever alive. This wasn't part of my thing, but he's been in like 6 plane crashes. Hold on.
What now? Well, that content went away.
The great, what is it? Not stale air. What is it? Silent air. Everyone's on their phone looking up something.
No, it's I was going to bring up the other one that I had and check for the chats.
And again, if anyone has any topics to throw out there, please do, because like we said, we're going into a drought of football and sports aside from basketball.
Here it is.
The more topics, the better.
So he's a Croatian. Selak, I think is how you pronounce his name.
I wouldn't even try.
Yeah. So in his mid-30s, it said his life was pretty normal up to that point. But in 1962, he was on board a train that derailed and crashed into a river, killing 17 people. He was pulled out of that wreckage alive. And then, hold on, let me see. There's more things that happened to him. He's almost had a dozen tales of near-death experiences. He's survived car wrecks, bus crashes, and plane disasters. He drove his car off the edge of a cliff into a ravine, and his car hit a tree branch and hung on, and he survived. Then
like
he won
Jurassic Park.
Yes, like Jurassic Park. And then he won in 2002. He won $1 million in the lottery. Let's see what else he has.
That's kind of a crappy winning.
Yeah,
if you're going to win the lottery, you might as well
win
the
lottery. How much did you win?
$1 million.
$1 million. Yeah, that's not the greatest thing.
You have to pay
ever.
them in taxes.
Then you pay the tax.
So you probably win like $400,000.
Hold on, that's not the best article. Let me see if I can find like more.
Anyways, while you do that, back to sports for a moment. Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Still alive.
It's
he played his last game. I guess would that be
his last home game?
Yeah, because they're
not good enough to have a home game.
Yeah, they're not in home field.
Yeah, so that was that because as soon as we finished the podcast last week, we went and sat down and ate dinner, and that was the game that was on. And I'm not the biggest Pittsburgh fan, but that was quite kind of an emotional moment.
It was cool to watch.
Yeah, it was very, very cool to watch. If people don't know what we're talking about, Ben Roethlisberger is retiring at the end of the year, and he played his final game in Pittsburgh when they got the win. And I'm just blanking on who they played. Who did they play last? I know someone's going to crucify me for this, for not being prepared.
I do not remember. Okay, here's a story of our unlucky traveler. So he was in a rail disaster, like a railroad disaster, that sent a train into a river, killing 17. He survived. The very next year, he was on a flight from Zagreb to somewhere in Iceland I can't pronounce. A accident happened and the door detached from the airplane, so he survived that. The airplane crashed after that. 19 people died in that one. He was apparently found in a haystack after this, and he woke up in the hospital a few days later with no real injuries.
He fell out the plane into a haystack?
Or I guess it crashed and he like tumbled out of it or something like that. He was in 1966 in another fatal accident, and when a bus fell into a river, killed 4. He had an uneventful 4 years until 1970. His car's fuel tank exploded on a motorway. He survived that. In 1973, he had another car accident. A malfunctioning fuel pump leaked gasoline all over his vehicle and sent flames spewing towards him. Fast forward to 1995. A bus hit him. He survived that. And as well as... hold on, is that what this is?
What's this guy's name?
I cannot pronounce it.
So if he calls you up and says, "Hey, you want to go on a trip with me?"
Absolutely not.
No,
Absolutely
thanks.
not. Hold on.
He'll be the only person on the airplane.
So the man's 7th and final disaster. A truck king barely towards him in Skoda as he drove around a mountain road. The episode ended with him leaping free, only to watch in horror as his car explodes. And then he won $1 million in the lottery. And guess how old he is?
54.
He's 92.
Wow.
And he survived all of this. So yeah, he won a jackpot worth 600,000 euros, I guess, at the time. And he bought a luxurious home, only to have a change of heart and sell it in 2010. And then he returned home to his 5th wife.
The most.
Well, I guess
so that's the man for the most interesting man in the world, right there.
Somebody has to be unlucky.
I guess.
Sorry, it's him, but
yep.
And I will not get on a plane with him.
No, if you get on an airplane with that guy,
or a car, or probably not even just.
I probably wouldn't even walk across the street.
Train.
I wouldn't even walk across the street with that man.
No.
Anyways, back to Ben Roethlisberger. They played the Browns. That's who I thought they played, but I didn't want to say it just in case I got it wrong. They won 26-14, and yeah, that was quite the emotional.
That was the last home game.
Yeah, that was his last home game.
Then they had a playoff game, or not a playoff game. They had a overtime game with I think the Ravens, wasn't it?
Now they're in the play like a wild card.
Well, they had to either the Raiders won, which helped them. That's actually what sent them into the playoffs. But they beat somebody in overtime. I think it was
the Ravens.
The Ravens, yeah. So they won that game in overtime by a field goal, I believe. And then I think the Raiders beat the Chargers. Is that right? And then that sent them to the playoff.
Several people still watching, so if you're watching, be sure to click that share button, send it out on Facebook, copy the link.
Here's something interesting. So the Raiders made it to the playoffs along with the Steelers. Had the Raiders tied with the Chargers, those two teams would have made it.
Both of them, yeah.
So they could have done that. They could have like texted each other and like pregame, like, hey, we just keep it 0-0. We take kneel downs every single play, just kill some clock, and we both make it to the playoffs. Nobody worse for wear. But I guess not. I guess the Raiders went ahead and they punched their ticket.
Yep. But I just want to bring up Ben Roethlisberger and say that I am officially cheering for the Steelers to win the Super Bowl.
I got to go for the Packers. I like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but he'll have another chance, I think.
He will. I think he will. But I would like to see him win it his last year at Green Bay. If I don't think it could happen, though. I was about to say if Rodgers and Roethlisberger played it out, but I don't think it would work out logistically.
Yeah, but that again, quite a good story. We always like a good wholesome story. So far, anyways, he might end in disaster.
And I was going to bring up, you brought up the unlucky thing, and I was going to ask but I'm not going to say what's your most unluckiest thing because that's probably bad karma.
It might change.
Yeah,
but if you want to in the chat, because there's, if you want to put your unlucky, if you think you're unlucky at something,
your unluckiest
throw it
moment,
in the chat.
Or maybe your luckiest moment.
Or you're lucky. Yeah,
that turns into the most unlucky.
If
one.
anyone out there won the lottery, feel free to come on the podcast. We might ask for a small finder's fee of $1 million.
If you then got the lottery stolen from you, definitely let us know. Because I'm sure that's happened before.
So that brings me to I saw this story, and I want you see if everybody thinks this is actually happening or if it's fake. I mean, it's not like a CGI thing, but is there something fishy going on here? Hopefully, we can play it without it being glitchy. Let me see.
Oh yeah, that is absolutely real. 100%.
That's totally real.
I mean, there's like 4 minutes of this. I mean, you can sit here and just watch.
That looks like some of the people I see on the golf course.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean,
What is like me on the golf course? What are you talking about?
What is he? Who decided to?
Having a good time.
What if you're at the zoo, and all of a sudden you see this coming along right here? You just see an orangutan drive by you, and he kind of waves at you.
He waves at you. Yeah, I bet you.
So what do you? Is this true or false? Because I did look it up.
I think it's.
Oh, it's got to be real.
There's like nobody sitting there guiding him or doing something.
I think he's got somebody with him.
Yeah, just to make sure he doesn't.
Actually, I saw
go nuts, but
I'll reveal the answer.
It is true.
It is true.
Does he have anybody with him?
No, I saw another. No, I don't think I saw another picture with him driving, and there was like a dog sitting beside him.
Does he have an Instagram?
Oh, he's got to have it.
Wait, can we shout out the orangutan's Instagram?
He needs like a. But you know what? This is in Dubai. I mean,
he's super chill about it too. He's just.
That's a normal day for him.
Yeah.
I mean,
he looks like me driving down to East Trace or something like that. He's just chill.
I would go past other monkeys and I'd be like,
"Oh, that's what he does." Or he gets his buddies and they all come and hang out on the golf cart.
Or say he stops and he walks in the room and there's a monkey playing Pong. I mean,
that might be the one that did play Pong.
We've taught monkeys to play Pong
and to drive golf carts.
And now we're teaching.
Here's something I'd said before though. If whenever the self-driving cars started coming out, can you not just send your car to the gas station to pick up milk? Why is that not an option?
Because now you also have because you could do whatever.
What could go wrong?
Because now we have food service. You order your groceries online. Well, no, but I'm saying you can order your groceries online, and your car drives the stuff to Walmart. Do they just walk it to the car and put it in, and then the car drives back, or do you have to be there to receive said groceries?
I think that'd be great.
The possibilities are endless.
What could go wrong with monkeys playing video games
and becoming smarter and smarter and learning how to use tools?
What could go wrong?
Is that Charlton Heston? Is that who that was?
Yes.
I always forget. Yeah.
I'm just saying you look at Planet of the Apes and you laugh at it.
We're heading that way.
Or iRobot.
Exactly.
But cows are doing VR.
Yeah. You know how many people cows kill a year?
A lot.
That's a lot.
And they have a lot of CO2 production too. Apparently.
I bet the unlucky guy had an incident with the cow.
Oh, he did.
I would think a person who dies by a cow might be more.
That would be pretty unlucky. How would you die? Would you get killed in a stampede, a cow stampede?
I would think people get out there and
get stepped on,
or you get kicked. Oh, have you seen the kid that jumps on the bull?
Am I gonna have to look it up?
Yes. Just Google child jumps on bull. It's hilarious. So I guess he survived. It wasn't age restricted or anything. I'm sure it's one of those. Yeah, do that. Yeah.
I just pulled up a really strange list of causes of death in the U.S.
I'm just gonna play this and
just play and watch it live.
I haven't even seen this.
This looks like something straight out of Elmore County.
Whoa.
It's at least the guy could hold the camera straight.
Yeah, that cow did not take kindly to that. Yeah, the guy did not do very well recording.
But why would you let a kid go do that anyway?
I think he was dared to do it. Had to have been. As a parent, like if you're sitting there watching that,
It's not
that'd be
not a good
horrifying.
thing.
Yeah, that would not be good. I don't know. You probably would have let us done that when we were kids.
So I just found a really strange article talking about gray wolves and how many people they kill a year. You want to guess how many people they kill a year?
Gray
Gray
wolves?
wolf?
Yep.
There's like none of them left in the world, so I would say maybe 2. Or
None.
none, yeah.
Yeah. You want to guess how many people die in the U.S. from cows?
Oh, a lot. It has to be like
75.
if like one. It's like I think more than that I kill per day by a cow. You can probably do like 1 per day. I do like 350 a year.
22. not
Oh.
not quite that much.
I mean, you think about all the
But you want
farms
to know
that
how
are
many
out
people are
there.
killed by tractors a year?
Oh, it's got to be a
Oh.
lot.
241.
Yeah, people on tractors
Is
every
that
day.
worldwide or U.S.?
The U.S.
Okay.
Worldwide. I'm sure it's more, but the U.S. Yeah. 22 people are killed by cows a year.
Speaking of list,
Now that's unlucky.
that's unlucky. I was thinking about. I was listening to the same golf podcast that doesn't just do golf, but they were talking about the amount of like I don't even know how this came up in the podcast, but I want you guys to guess how many listed songs there are, like audio files for. Like just like songs that are put out there into the world. Let me see when this list was made. Hold on. I think it was
Are you talking about like of all time?
yes.
How many songs are ever?
I mean, there's got to be billions.
Hold on. Let me pull up the official number, and then you guys can guess.
I mean, I don't know. How would anybody? How does
Yeah.
anybody even know that number?
I have no idea.
So it
So
could
somebody's
be
just
wrong.
making it up.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, essentially they are, or they're just taking. How did we end up here on the podcast? That's what I.
How did you?
That's true.
Did you
How
hear
did you-
about? And footballs. Well, we just can't. Sports are good.
Sports
we're
are
going to
good.
talk sports, but at some point we're going to have to talk about aliens.
Okay.
And
so
Ben's already spoiled that.
I,
for us.
that's we've.
I hadn't
Nobody heard that. So
I hadn't spoiled it.
You didn't hear
I
anything.
tickled the prospect of aliens.
I do, and I thought a little. I've had some revelations this week on the whole thing, and it's quite. It's actually quite good. It's actually
Okay,
groundbreaking.
so this company called Grace Note, they kept a list of songs that had been made since like forever till the year 2011. Guess how many songs there are
hey, for
in that world?
and for the people on chat, y'all guess too.
Yeah, guess in the
On
chat.
chat,
I'm
yeah,
very
guess on the
curious
chat.
to see like.
What do you think?
Here's my initial thought was like.
Well, don't tell us because
well,
don't give us any.
It's not
hint.
gonna. It's not gonna. I'm not gonna hint y'all. But my guess was like 1 billion.
Yeah, it's probably more than that. I'd guess, like
Like how many?
Almost-
Say that again.
I
How
would
many songs
almost-
or what?
hazard nearly a
Okay,
trillion.
so it says that Grace Note keeps a list of all songs that are ever made, up to the year 2011.
Well, maybe okay. I'd say I thought nowadays it'd probably be closer to a trillion. I'm not sure. I might
That's
be.
a lot of songs.
I know, but you know how many like Spotify artists there are now and SoundCloud
Like
and all
Apple
this.
Music.
Yeah, like how many people make music nowadays? If we're just talking about pure audio files that no one ever actually has to listen to.
I think it not like a listed song, but it has to be like on like a Spotify or something like that.
Oh, okay, that's different.
It's not like someone like just sat like I can sit down here and write a song about Yoda here and it wouldn't be listed.
Weird
on the
Al
list.
already did that.
Yeah. So
So
Weird Al
just
did.
so
well, hey,
actual,
we made one. That's one song
so
we know. of.
actual listed.
Like listed songs that are like on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, or whatever they use for their.
13 billion.
I would say. How many songs? I would say 800 million.
One of you is a lot closer than the other.
I was that way off.
Yes, you're
Oh,
way
yeah.
off.
We do have somebody guessing here.
All right, I'm curious to see what their guess is.
358 billion? 72 billion.
72. That's a lot of songs.
That's a lot of songs.
Okay, y'all ready for the correct answer?
I feel like I'm about to be embarrassed.
Yeah. That was closer, but it's 79 million. It doesn't feel like a lot.
I mean, it's a
Well,
lot.
that's a lot.
But hold on, let me drop this little factoid on you. It says on this list, to get a sense of how big that number is, 79 million minutes is about 150 years. That's a lot.
Well, yeah, it's a lot. I just expected more.
So that's one new song for every minute since the year 1866.
Well, yeah, because in
That
1866 they didn't have Spotify.
seems pretty reasonable.
How do
That
we
seems
know?
reasonable.
In 1866 they didn't have Spotify. So
Well, that's when you actually had to put in effort to make a song.
that's also true.
But I think
So I thought that was interesting. I figured
and
we'd all
who,
take an
where do they
interest
get
in that.
their?
I was like, where does this? Who?
Where does that information
Yeah,
come
who
from?
put that list together?
It's just it's a company called Grayson. That's
Grayson.
all I got. I'm not going to do it, so I rely on other people to do it.
That's fair.
But we did actually get some guesses out there,
Is anyone
and
close?
you were way off.
Yeah, the guesses I think
It's
were
okay.
way
I
off.
was
I
too.
was way off. I
But
said
thank you for
I said
participating.
I said
Thank you for
1 billion.
We'll send you well, we don't have anything to say.
You
I'll bring you some dinner.
You were the closest by far, like from my guess to anybody else's guess. I'm curious to see what Travis would have guessed because we know he's in the
Yes,
music.
Travis, if you're out there,
Maybe he won't
still
watch
have
this.
time to join-
Yeah,
you
maybe
still
he
have-
won't watch this, and then we can just
Ask him next
just bring
show.
this up tomorrow or the
He's-
next day.
he's
Next
still.
week's podcast.
If you've seen Travis,
Let us
let us know.
I was at the
Yeah.
gym earlier and he wasn't there.
So if you see Travis out in the wild, feel free to take pictures of him. and
Oh,
send
here's
them to-
okay. We'll bring up the screen with Travis. Here's Travis.
Oh,
He's not there.
he's not there. That's sad.
That's sad.
So we go back to that screen.
Yeah, I was at the gym earlier and I didn't see him there. But
Oh, the person who guessed in the contest said, I meant 72 million, not billion.
Well, he still
Said
wasn't
it was
right.
a
That's-
typo.
He could have Googled and he still wasn't
Oddly
right.
convenient that only after the answer has been given.
Still could have Googled and wouldn't have got it right. But I was at the gym earlier and I didn't see Travis there. So he's not there. I can confirm that. Also, I remember I told y'all that I was going to do 79 or 75 miles in the month of January. I'm almost halfway there.
I've given up. But
I
I
know.
got sick. I have an excuse.
That's true. You did get sick. I'm trying not to get sick so I can still finish it.
I'm going to do 75 miles before I die.
That's a good goal. How many did you walk? How many steps did you take the day after? What was it? The day after the national championship?
No, the New Year's. First
Oh
day
yeah,
of
day
New
after
Year's.
New
After
Year's.
New
That's
Year's.
right.
I think
13,
33.
33.
I think it takes more than 33 steps to
Had to-
walk from here, like to my bed.
I went to
I would
I went to the bathroom twice.
But
Other than that-
there was New Year's 6 games on, so I mean there's something to do at
So
least.
there were some very good games on that.
Yeah, the Ohio State game was the best one of the lot.
Yeah, that was outstanding. And we missed it.
Yeah, we did. We went to the gym.
gym.
Yeah, that was a mistake apparently. But I don't know if I have much more to say than that.
Well, it's been a very
Oh, I have one more thing.
Not spearfishing.
No, it's not spearfishing. It maybe next week. But there was something funny that happened in the NFL. You might have to pull it up again. It was an official. He steps up there and he gets on the microphone and he goes, "Hey, hey, hey!" And the crowd all go, "Hey, hey, hey!" back to him. I think that all referees should have like a tagline. Like they should have like an intro to every single call.
It's like back in the day when UFC referees would always have like their, like
Yeah.
whatever they would say
Yeah.
before the fight starts.
They could, it could be like, I don't know what they would say. They'd be like, "Hey, it's me again," or something like that. And then I don't know, just anything to make it funny. That some of these referees, they have personality. Like you see, like the ref with the giant biceps out there because he hadn't missed arm day. Like you gotta have some of the personality with some of these referees.
Pass interference. Defense number 4. Rodgers. Hey, hey, hey. Pass interference.
Was he like Freddie Mercury or something?
And so that would like also because we all played sports, and I will get onto so many, and even now I get onto so many officials.
Hey, hey, hey. Pass interference.
That's great. See, everyone now likes that referee. No matter if he calls a penalty against your team, you now still like him. So I think that all referees should have like a tagline.
well, you had the one referee who worked out before the game.
Yeah, who gets
So
like
now-
jacked arms.
Yeah, so but some referees are like, I'm not going to work out. I'm just going to come up with a slogan. I'm gonna come
Yeah,
up with
slogan.
come up
That's what
with
they
a-
need.
Eventually they'll have their own merch.
They could see that's a new marketing
Ref
opportunity.
merch.
Referee merch.
That, you know,
So
because
now
you notice.
instead
I mean,
of-
you notice when you have a game coming on, you notice who the refs are.
Like with football, I notice it fairly often, but like with soccer, I know every single ref, and I hate it when we get certain referees.
I don't know any refs in soccer.
I know, but well, like we all know the big bicep guy in
I know one player in
in
soccer.
college. Yeah, who was that?
Ronaldo.
I thought you were gonna say Benjamin Baumgartner. But
I did. Speaking of referees in soccer, I just wanted to point this out. African Cup of Nations is on. For anyone
yeah.
who cares, if we have any listeners in Africa, please tune in. There was a referee yesterday from in the Mali and Tunisia game. I forget exactly all what happened. Give me 2 seconds. There was an ejection.
oh yeah, red
Two
card.
penalty.
Yep.
Two penalties given. The game was called, for any of those who don't know, a soccer match or a football match, if you're from England land, goes to 90 minutes. The referee called the game and stopped the match at 85 minutes.
Then it was
proceeded-
1-0. It wasn't like a blowout.
Yeah, it was 1-0. Close game. And then, I don't know if this is true. I didn't actually get to watch the game, but I think there was like a 20-minute break in between where the players went to the locker
They were
rooms,
taking like
took
ice baths.
baths,
Yeah.
like to cool, like to add, like post-match, things to cool down and relax your muscles and everything. And then they were called back to the pitch. The game was then
Which is the field.
the
it's
field. The game was then played for 4 more minutes to 89 minutes, not even to the 90-minute period. No extra time was added, which there was always extra time between 1 and 5 minutes added in a football game or soccer match. And the ref called it at 89 minutes and ended the match.
Also, there was 9 substitutions. I think
There was
total.
there was also 9 substitutions.
There's only supposed to be 6. So it was
one of the
it was pretty
most
wild.
bizarre games ever seen. It was
Maybe
really
it was just
strange.
for promotion.
Maybe
did,
it
Did the
was.
game count for anything?
It's Africa,
Yeah,
yeah.
it counts for like the best team in Africa. It's a tournament.
Yeah, it's a big tournament. So
Maybe it's just so we talk about it.
yeah, maybe.
It very well could be. Also,
'Cause
I
I
think
did not watch Mali
think
versus.
Because if we talk about it, everybody's going to
Everybody.
talk about
we have
it.
tens of viewers.
That's our slogan.
We have
My thing is,
ones of viewers.
if you, you just made me lose my train of thought. Oh yeah. So like, I don't think that all the referees that go to that African Cup of Nations are like certified. There's no way. So when you get Mali versus Tunisia, they step up to like one like the line judge and be like, "Hey, you want to go referee this next game?" Like, "Yeah, sure, I'll go do it and get extra pay." But there's no way they're certified.
apparently this guy couldn't even count. So
Yes, it was
well,
bad.
not even count. He couldn't read a watch.
Yeah, it was bad.
Like, when this hits 9-0, you stop the game, not before. Anyways, that was my little weird rant because it was just really
That
strange.
it was
Like,
very strange.
As a player, I would be furious.
Yeah, it was very odd.
Well, that's something that I had not heard about, so it fits
So
appropriately
did you hear about this? Yes, you have. Now,
into this episode. So, you guys watching, make sure you subscribe, share it out to 89 people so we can talk about aliens, because we really need to get to the aliens.
Or you can
If-
make 89 YouTube accounts and then just subscribe with all of them.
subscribe to it, because we're not going to go out like everybody else and just get fake accounts. Our people are real.
We're not going to pay for them.
that's why we have whole tens, less
Tens.
than not even tens. We
All
have-
those people you see with all those accounts, they're
They're
not,
all
they're not
fake.
real people.
No, they're
The
not real
internet's not real.
I don't even think there's a million people on this planet.
It's
There's
like-
no way you have a
it's
million
like
subscribers.
It's like birds.
Sometimes
They
I
just
wish
don't
I would have
exist.
never invented it.
Oh, did
I
you
think
see
I'm
that? Did you see that video about the birds? The birds aren't real.
Yeah, that was.
Did you see
great.
the protest about that?
The birds were protesting?
No.
No, no.
People were saying that there's a movement apparently that birds are not real. I guess. Hold on.
And it was on the news.
Look this up.
Well, are there
Well, yeah,
birds under the earth?
I have no idea.
Like,
Look, this will be the last
you
video
go
you
to
have to
the-
look up.
If you go to the edge and look over how do birds fly under the earth?
I don't know. That's good. I think they
With
just
wings.
invert. I think they instantly invert. Like
Oh,
they'll
yeah.
be going like this, and then just not gravity. Whatever flips you over, you'll go over
No,
the
no.
ice wall.
I would say they have to go over the ice wall.
Yeah,
first.
you have to get. Well, maybe they can't get over the ice wall.
That's what I was going to say. Is they don't know. There's no airborne birds in the Arctic.
That's true.
If the
actually.
earth is flat, what's on the edge of the earth?
the ice wall.
Yeah, it's the government facilities behind the ice wall.
But if it's then what's behind that?
Nobody knows.
Except
Uncharted
for the government.
territories.
If you've ever read H.P. Lovecraft, The Mountains of Madness, that's what I imagine it is. For any of those who haven't read that, for the 2 people that have, excellent book, good taste. But that's what I imagine it is.
My question, what is the point of everyone saying that the Earth is round?
Control. That's what they say. It's a control thing. They think if you're on a sphere, you stay. And apparently if it's flat or a disc or a bowl shape,
Well, I mean, it's a good thing we don't live on like a spherical planet like Mars, because then we'd be wild.
Yeah, what are those? Are the other places out
No,
there?
No.
They're
Those
flat, but they're just they're inverted.
Those are
projections?
spherical. I think like the Flat Earth Society or somebody from the Flat Earth Society has said those planets have been observed to be round. Therefore, they are round. Earth apparently has not been observed to be round. Therefore, we are flat.
So it's been observed to be flat.
No, it's not been observed at all.
That would be a good guess. A flat Earth person.
I feel like we
get
get
a flat
I
Earth.
feel like I would just.
I think we know a flat Earth.
I think we know
guest.
someone who's flat.
Well, but I have questions.
I have a lot of questions, and I'm sure we will get to them eventually. Maybe that could be like a 5th or 10th episode extravaganza.
You have a ladybug on your head.
Do I?
Like on your
on your headset.
ladybugs are good luck, by the way.
Well, that's good because there's about 1 million of them around here now.
But I'm just I've flown. I have flown around the Earth.
Yeah.
Not in
than a few times.
I wasn't in a spaceship or anything.
No, but an
or in a
airplane.
balloon, but I was in an airplane, and it was.
I actually met a pilot, a U-2 pilot, flying out of a local airport here, and he showed me pictures of the Earth at.
So he proved it was round.
Yeah, I mean it was.
I
I mean,
thought you were going to say he proved it was flat.
Not that there's a million other pictures up there showing that.
yeah,
it's
but I mean
round.
he actually had pictures on his phone of flights they did, and you can see clearly the Earth is round.
Somebody's saying the Earth is square.
That's not a bad guess. We just have to find what's on the corners.
See, I'm more on that. I'm more on that train.
I'd be more on that
I would
train.
think I would be more apt to believe like there's an inner world or something going on inside the Earth, because we can only drill down so far.
Hollow Earth theory.
And if we
Godzilla?
get to 50 subscribers, we'll talk about that.
I'm sure I know we could get a flat Earth around here.
50 subscribers and we get to fly. So start.
We won't just talk about it. We'll get a guest in here to talk
we
about
need
it.
to get we do have some interesting guests lined up for the show. When you people get on board and sign up, I already have one that's a movie star.
Oh yeah, we do.
We
And then
do have a movie star.
He will be
We also have
very gregarious.
Very gregarious.
We also have a few other guests potentially lined up as well.
Then
We're
we've
not
got
gonna spoil anything, but again, start subscribing, people, so we can get these people on.
Yeah, these guests are people you're not going to see them on the big shows or anything like that, because
they're every person.
Yes.
They're us.
But they have stories worth hearing.
most definitely. So
when someone asks, "Did you hear about this person?" You can say,
absolutely,
yes.
I did.
And then you can ask the question, "Did you hear about?
Did you hear
this
about?
person?"
That's what it's about. When you're around, did you hear about it? You're just going to say go subscribe.
Do it. I think we could hit. I think we can hit every quarter. We'll hit once we hit 25 subscribers. We'll have one guest. Once we hit 50, we can absolutely do our flat Earth guest. Once we hit 75, we might get our movie star in here.
And if you would like to, if you think you're guest worthy,
if you think you're an interesting person, let us know.
Send us a message, and we'll be the judge ourselves.
But
and if you are not guest worthy, we will publicly shame you for trying.
oh, that's a good idea. If you're not good enough to make it in, we will send out your email that you send to us saying that you're not good enough.
Yeah, if you're not good enough to make it on this show,
then you got some problems.
So,
but I think that's just about going to do it, unless you guys had anything else to talk about. I've got some Japanese food sitting next door that I really want to go eat, and a shower that I really want to go take. So you guys can give a quick plug of your Instagrams real quick. And
mine is The Real Earl B on Instagram.
Brock?
See all kind of musical stuff on there.
There's a lot of it.
There is Brock _Baumgartner.
Go look at knives and forging.
I don't even know what my Instagram is, to be honest. I know I've misspelt it by accident in the Instagram thing.
I bet it has golf.
I think we showed it earlier, and you can definitely go find it somewhere.
That's because you have 6 of them.
That's also true. I think you can go find my Instagram from the little video that was posted earlier. So go check that out.
And we'll probably try to get back on schedule.
Back on Monday. I don't think there's anything going on Monday. I know I don't have anything going on personally, but
click subscribe and notification so you know when we go live, and just check in on us on Monday so you can be part of the.
Very might have a football game on Monday. There might be a wild card game on Monday. I'm sure we can get the TV.
I'll look real quick.
I'm sure we can get the TV in here and watch it while we podcast.
You'll be watching on your computer.
I will be, but y'all can't see it. Sadly, y'all have missed Kevin Na. Absolutely.
Oh, we missed the golf tournament.
You did miss the golf tournament. I should have bet on Kevin Na. I knew it.
I think I was probably recording it.
Y'all did miss a hole in one though. Someone did hit a hole in one. So that's important.
As long as he didn't break his ankle after or dislocated afterwards.
I didn't realize until after I saw it back from somewhere else. I think that was Tony Finau who did that. Yeah, I didn't know that the first time I watched it.
The Cardinals will be playing the Rams at 7:15 on Monday night.
Oh,
so maybe we could do a little
watch party.
We'll have
we could roll the TV in here and turn it on Apple
so everyone
TV.
Cast your votes. Who you think will win? Score predictions. If you get the score exactly correct, we will give you.
I can give you a head cover for a putter.
Thumbs up. No, that's mine.
Oh, okay.
For
the putter you don't have.
Exactly.
I think the guest wants us to quit so they can play guitar.
Oh, that's sad. Anyway, I think that's just about going to do it. Next week we will have that game probably on. We'll probably do a little live watch party. I'm sure Travis will partake in that. But I think until then, I think we're about to call it a night. Like I said, we got some Japanese food next door. We're going to go try and eat that. Also, we didn't talk about Boba Fett.
Yeah, new episode of Boba Fett.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to go watch that. If you haven't watched it.
That's
the next thing.
Next episode, we will definitely be talking about the new book of
Sand
Boba Fett.
people are
they're people too.
Sand people have taken on
the new light. Yeah,
new light. They're pretty good. Yeah. So if you haven't watched that, go watch the 3rd episode. I think it came out yesterday. So go watch that. I'm sure we will spoil that. We're 1 for 1. One bad episode, 1 good episode. So hopefully the next one keeps on the upward trend.
Remember, Tuscan lives matter.
Tuscan Lives Matter. I think that's just about going to do it. We will see you guys next Monday right about 7 o'clock. So join us then on the next episode of Did You Hear About?